I think the most powerful decision that we have, or most powerful choice that we have, is not necessarily to choose between multiple things, but it's actually choose not to do something. It's a binary choice where you delay making a investment, making a purchase, delay doing something and allowing somebody else to do that. And a lot of what we need to sort of think about is not necessarily all of the things that we could possibly do and the options that we could do, but really thinking about whether we should or should not do something. And it doesn't matter what aspects of life that you're actually looking at, whether it's parenting, whether it is whether it's going to school, whether it is, making a major purchase, whether it is investing in a company that you own or different assets. But the major choice is actually choosing to do something or not to do something, not necessarily choosing between multiple options. It's a sort of a secondary choice. And the interesting thing is there's a lot less that we know about the sort of binary choice of doing this or doing that. But I do think one of the sort of most powerful behavioral things that we can do is to sort of resist that uh, that decision, resist doing something, that delay component, whether it is making buying a couch, for example, or, buying a bed, waiting to when you believe it's the right time to buy that bed and that you actually have the resources available to buy that bed is an important strategic choice that very much matters. Um, and it seems like ridiculous, right? Like what I'm talking about in terms of buying a bed. There's way more other things that you can possibly get away with in terms of not buying a bed if you don't have the resources at the time. Um, so you can sleep on the floor. You can have some blankets, which I did. I remember doing sleeping on air mattresses. Um, when I was in college, and that was completely fine, completely sensible. I was okay with that, and I slept on an air mattress. Um, and the goal is to wait until you have resources available that you can actually make those purchasing choices where it's not going to hurt you in some sort of way. So delaying that consumption decision. There's very few things that ever tremendously add a lot of value in your life. There are things, there has been some things in my life that I can say that have added value in my life because of that purchase decision, and it was well worth it. So the cell phone that I'm talking into, um, not necessarily in the sense of me when I'm consuming, and but it's been an important part of my consumption of listening to, podcasts and YouTube videos and things like that make me feel good. But this possibility of production on the other side. So, there's lots of things that are like that you have to sort of question, am I going to feel better when I make this purchasing decision? Is it actually going to make me, more productive? Is there something behind it that adds value behind beyond the utility of it? Right? It's not necessarily, I'm not saying to go out and be a complete minimalist and have nothing, have like a fork in your house and anything like that. But what I'm thinking about is being just cautious with purchasing decisions in the sense that you have that ability to delay, and that's a really important strategic decision. I'm not saying don't buy the things that you need to buy, but I'm saying delay purchasing things that don't add value. So for example, coming back to this fork example, thinking about, okay, well, I might want to buy silverware, like actual silverware. Well, I don't have the money right now, so I'm okay to use um, the $1 fork that you can buy at Walmart, which by the way, I consumed a lot of and used a lot of, and even to the extreme. And my roommates used to make fun of me. I used to wash plasticware, right, and reuse plasticware because that was a cheap alternative. And as long as you're okay with doing that and consuming using plasticware that you've rewashed and rewashed, that makes a lot of sense, right? And you could keep doing that repeatedly and until you can actually save up and make a purchasing decision that is, or make that choice, make that investment in silverware that you really want to do. And it's removing that possibility of financing is extremely important to make a lot of these decisions. So this is where people talk about good debt and bad debt, but it's not about good debt and bad debt because often people rationalize and justify anything to be good debt, that they're adding value, it's an investment, it's helpful, all those kind of things, was really not. Most things are not that way, and even if you're making an investment in a power plant and you think that that is a good investment, it might not be. It's a risky bet to actually do that. um, and you could be, you can go bankrupt if you're making that purchasing decision. So what you could do is limp along until you actually have the resources available. And I'm saying limp along. You're usually doing okay if you're making those choices, and you're doing okay. It's just a matter of, in your head you believe that you're limping along, or you're not. You don't have something that you should have, or that can make you more productive. Yes, it's absolutely always true that there's always something that can make you more productive or make you better off, or any of those things, right? I'd be a lot more productive if I had my own private jet, because then every meeting that I go to, I can just do it quickly. And yes, I could be a lot more productive by having that. But is that a wise and prudent decision to actually purchase my own jet? No, it is not. Right? It doesn't quite make any sense at this time in my life. But I'm saying, that's why I say it's in this time of my life, it doesn't quite make sense. So I'm delaying making that purchasing decision. Maybe when I'm 75 years old and I'm flying all over the world constantly and all of that nonsense stuff, then maybe getting your own private jet makes sense. But for the most part, um, most things are like that you have to sort of think about. Like, does this make sense? And if not, at your time, you're better off to delay that purchasing decision, that action, that any number of different things, and just avoid doing it altogether. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.